Richard Mason's hands gripped the steering wheel so tight his knuckles turned white. His eyes locked on the road, but his mind was somewhere else entirely. The dashboard clock read 3:47 a.m., and Richard had been driving alone in the darkness on Interstate 80 for the past 6 hours. Inside the truck cabin, there was only the monotonous hum of the diesel engine and country music crackling through the radio. Richard was 47 years old, and he had spent the last 23 years of his life in this cabin. Same brand truck, same type of loads, same routes, Chicago to Sacramento, Sacramento to Denver, Denver back to Chicago. An endless loop, an endless exhaustion. His phone buzzed in his pocket, a message from his wife Jennifer. Electric bill came. $347. How are we paying this month? Richard read the message, but didn't reply. What could he say? He had nothing to tell her, because Richard didn't know how they would pay it either. Last month, the car repair was $1,200. The month before that, Emily's braces were $2,800. The month before that, a roof leak was $1,650. And Richard's salary? $4,200 a month. After taxes, $3,100. Rent $1,450. Car payment, $580. Credit card minimum payments, $420. Groceries, gas, insurance. The math never worked. Richard's total debt had reached $52,000. 5 different credit cards, 2 consumer loans, 1 car loan. Every month he was pulling from one card to pay another. A financial juggling act, and every month he was falling further behind. Tonight he would deliver his load in San Francisco. Then he would drive back empty, find another load, hit the road again. He was working 70 to 80 hours a week. He saw his kids maybe 10 hours a week at home. Emily was 14. Jake was 11. Neither of them really knew their father anymore. To them, Richard was just a tired, quiet man who showed up at home sometimes. Jennifer complained constantly. "Richard, this can't go on. You need to spend time with your family. The kids are growing up without you." She was right, of course. But what could he do? If he quit his job, who would pay the bills? He was 47 years old with a high school diploma, and he knew how to drive trucks. What else could he do? 200 miles from Sacramento, he pulled into a rest stop. It was 5 a.m. He needed coffee, needed the bathroom, needed to close his eyes for a few minutes. 3 other trucks were parked in the lot. They all shared the same fate. They were all lost in the same maze. When he walked inside, the rest stop was nearly empty. He got coffee from the corner vending machine, $2.50. Everything was expensive. Everything was too much. He sat down at a table and pulled out his phone. 3 more messages from Jennifer. He didn't want to read them. Instead, he opened Facebook. Maybe it would distract him. His feed showed old friends posting vacation photos, food pictures, happy family moments. Everyone looked happy. Everyone was living their lives. Richard was just trying to survive. Just as he was about to put his phone away, he heard voices from the table behind him. 2 men talking, kind of loud. Richard couldn't help but listen. The guy makes $40K a month without leaving his house, selling stuff on Amazon or something. Bullshit. If it was that easy, everyone would do it. I'm telling you, it's true. My brother knows him. Guy used to be a mailman. Now he's got a car, a house, goes on vacations. Richard turned his head slightly. One of the men looked to be in his 50s. The other younger. Both looked like truckers. So how's he doing it? Something called Amazon FBA. You buy cheap stuff from China, send it to Amazon's warehouse, they sell it, pack it, ship it. You just collect the money. Must need capital though. He started with a few $1,000s. Now he's making $40K a month, like I said. Richard's ears perked up. Amazon FBA, buying from China. A few $1,000s. $40K a month. Every word echoed in Richard's head. Normally when Richard heard conversations like this, he wouldn't care. He always thought it was a scam. Always a trap. There was no easy money, To get rich, you had to be born into the right family, go to the right schools, know the right people. Wealth wasn't for ordinary people. But this morning was different. Maybe it was the exhaustion. Maybe it was the desperation. Maybe it was the electric bill. Jennifer's messages, missing his kids. Richard felt so hopeless in that moment that even the smallest glimmer of hope seemed attractive. He pulled out his phone again, typed into Google, "What is Amazon FBA?" The first result was a YouTube video. How to make money with Amazon FBA Beginner's Guide. Richard put in his earbuds, started the video. On screen was a smiling guy in his 30s. In the background was a nice house, a white car. The guy was talking. "Hey guys, I'm Mike, and 3 years ago I was a construction worker. Now I make an average of $50,000 a month with Amazon FBA." Richard didn't move for the entire video. The 18-minute video ended. He watched another one. Then another. It was 7 a.m. now. He needed to get back on the road, but he watched one more video. The videos all said similar things. There was a site in China called Alibaba. Manufacturers sold products cheap there. You bought the product, sent it to Amazon. Amazon sold it for you. Profit margins could be 30 to 40%. You could start with $2,000 to $3,000. Richard started doing math in his head. He had a total credit limit of $8,000 across his cards. If he pulled from the cards and invested in this, no, too risky. What if it didn't work? He already had $52,000 in debt. What would another $3,000 matter? But what if it worked? That was the question. That tiny question. That question born from desperation, fed by hopelessness. What if it worked? Richard went back to his truck. He had to deliver his load, but his mind was elsewhere. The entire drive he thought about Amazon FBA. He thought about Alibaba. He thought about people making $40K, $50K a month. In Sacramento, he delivered the load. Normally, he would immediately turn around and look for a new load, but this time he didn't. He sat in a cafe, pulled out his laptop, researched for hours. He went on Amazon FBA forums, read threads on Reddit, watched hundreds of YouTube videos, success stories, failure stories, tips, strategies, warnings. He read everything. And the more he read, the more he realized something. These people were ordinary. They weren't special. They didn't have college degrees. They didn't come from wealthy families. They had just done one thing. They had tried. When Richard got home that evening, he was a different man. Jennifer met him at the door. "Why are you so late?" "I was worried." For the first time in a long time, Richard smiled at his wife. "Jen, I need to tell you something." That night they sat at the kitchen table until 2 a.m. Richard explained everything. Amazon FBA, his research, the videos, the success stories, his plan. Jennifer was skeptical at first. "Richard, these things are always scams. We'll lose money." "I know it's risky, but Jen, look at me. I'm 47 years old. I've been doing the same job for 23 years. Every month we go deeper into debt. I can't see my kids. You're starting to resent me. This can't continue. Either we change something or we're going to disappear in this maze." Jennifer looked into his eyes. She saw the exhaustion. She saw the desperation. But she saw something else too. Hope. She hadn't seen hope in her husband's eyes in a long time. "How much money do you need?" "I can start with $3,000. I'll bring in the first product. Test it. If it doesn't work, at least I tried." Jennifer took a deep breath. "Okay. Try it?" Richard couldn't believe it. "Are you serious?" "Richard, we've been married 20 years. I know you. You've already made this decision. I can't stop you, so at least I'll support you." Richard couldn't sleep that night. His mind was spinning, making plans. What would he sell? What category would he enter? How would he find suppliers? The next day he didn't go to work. He told Jennifer he was sick. He sat at home all day, hours at his laptop. He scanned Amazon, looked at best-selling products, looked at categories, looked at competition, looked at reviews. By evening, he had made a decision. Phone accessories, specifically car phone holders. Why? Because he was a trucker, and he could never find a good phone holder, because the ones on the market always broke, always fell. If he made a better one, he went on Alibaba, searched for phone holder manufacturers, found 47 suppliers, sent messages to 15 of them. I want to manufacture a car phone holder. Can you customize? What is your MOQ? What is your price? Within 24 hours, he got 11 replies. The prices ranged from $2.40 to $4.80 per unit. Minimum order quantities ranged from 500 to 1,000 units. Richard did the math. If he ordered 500 units at $3.20 each, that was $1,600. Shipping would be around $400. Amazon fees, packaging, barcodes, another $300. Total investment around $30 nulte. If he sold each unit for $19.99 on Amazon, after Amazon's fees he would net about $12 per unit. If he sold all 500 units, that was $6,000 revenue, minus $2,300 cost equals $3,700 profit. That was a 160% return. But that was if everything sold. What if it didn't? What if no one bought? What if there was a problem with the product? Richard spent 3 days going back and forth with suppliers, asking questions, requesting samples, negotiating prices. Finally, he chose a supplier in Shenzhen. The woman's name was Lucy. She spoke decent English. She seemed professional. She sent him detailed photos of previous products. Richard placed the order. $1,850 for 500 units, plus shipping. He pulled $2,000 from his credit card, the one with 22% interest. He wired the money to Lucy's company account. Then he waited. Lucy said production would take 15 days. Shipping by sea would take another 30 days. So about 45 days total. Richard had never experienced 45 days that felt so long. Every day, he messaged Lucy. How is production going? When will you ship? Can you send photos? Lucy was patient. She sent him photos of the molds, photos of the first samples, photos of the quality check. On day 17, Lucy messaged him. Richard, production complete. Ready to ship. Please confirm shipping address. Richard's heart was pounding. This was real. This was actually happening. The container shipped from Shenzhen port. Richard tracked it every day, across the Pacific Ocean, through customs in Los Angeles, onto a truck to Amazon's warehouse in Phoenix. 42 days after he placed the order, Richard got the notification. Your shipment has been received at Amazon Fulfillment Center. His products were in Amazon's warehouse. They were ready to sell. But there was a problem. Richard had never created an Amazon listing before. He didn't know how to take product photos. He didn't know how to write descriptions. He didn't know how to optimize keywords. He spent the next 3 days watching YouTube tutorials. How to create a listing. How to take white background photos. How to write bullet points. How to choose keywords. He learned about Amazon SEO. He learned about PPC ads. He learned about A+ content. Finally, on day 45, his listing went live. Premium magnetic car phone, holder, 360-degree rotation, universal fit, strong hold. Price $19.99. Free Prime shipping. Richard stared at his laptop screen. His product was live on Amazon. People all over America could now buy it. The first day he got 0 sales. The second day he got 0 sales. The third day he got 1 sale. 1 single sale. Richard almost cried. Some stranger in Texas had just paid $19.99 for his product. Amazon would pack it and ship it. Richard would make about $12 profit. 1 sale wasn't much, but it was proof. Proof that this could work. On day 4, he got 3 sales. Day 5, he got 2 sales. Day 6, he got 4 sales. The numbers were small, but they were growing. Then Richard made a decision. He started running Amazon PPC ads, pay-per-click advertising. Every time someone searched for car phone holder, his product would show up in the sponsored section. He set a budget of $20 a day. The next day he got 11 sales. The day after that 15 sales. The ads were working. People were seeing his product. People were buying. But there was another problem. His reviews. He had 0 reviews. On Amazon, reviews are everything. People don't buy products with no reviews. They don't trust them. Richard created an insert card. A small card that went inside every package. Thank you for your purchase. If you love this product, please leave a review. If there are any issues, please contact us first. He included his email address. Slowly, the reviews started coming in. First one review, 4 stars. Good holder, but the magnet could be stronger. Then another review. 5 stars. Best phone holder I've ever used. Then another, 3 stars. Works okay, but the adhesive didn't stick well to my dashboard. Richard read every single review. The good ones made him happy. The critical ones hurt. But the critical ones were the most valuable. They told him what to fix. He messaged Lucy. The magnet needs to be stronger. The adhesive needs to be better. Can you fix this for the next batch? Lucy said yes. She sent him upgraded samples. Richard tested them in his own truck. Much better. He placed a second order. This time, 1,000 units. He was more confident now. He knew the product worked. He knew people wanted it. By month 3, Richard had sold 1,847 units. His total revenue was $36,929. After costs, his profit was $18,420. He had made more in 3 months than he usually made in 6 months, driving trucks. Jennifer couldn't believe it. Richard, this is actually working. Richard was shocked too. He kept expecting it to fail. He kept expecting Amazon to shut down his account or customers to return everything or some disaster. But it kept working. He was still driving trucks full-time. He was managing his Amazon business on the side. During rest stops, during lunch breaks, late at night. It was exhausting, but it was exhilarating. By month 6, he had 2 products, the phone holder and a set of car charging cables. Both were selling well. His monthly revenue was $63,000. His monthly profit was $28,000. That's when Richard made the biggest decision of his life. He quit trucking. His boss thought he was insane. Richard, you've been here 23 years. You're throwing away your pension. You're throwing away your stability. Richard just smiled. I'm not throwing anything away. I'm finally taking control. Jennifer was nervous but supportive. Are you sure about this? Richard wasn't sure. He was terrified, but he knew he had to do it. Month 7 was his first month, focusing on Amazon full-time. He launched 3 more products: phone mounts, tablet holders, cable organizers, all truck and car accessories, all things he understood because he had lived that life. His revenue that month was $94,000. Profit was $41,000. He had made more in 1 month than he used to make in a year. By the end of year 1, Richard had 12 products. His annual revenue was $1.3 million. His profit was $480,000. He had paid off all $52,000 of debt. He had saved $200,000. He had moved his family to a bigger house. Emily and Jake couldn't believe the change. Their dad was home now. He was there for breakfast. He was there for dinner. He went to Emily's soccer games. He helped Jake with homework. He was present. Jennifer cried one night, "I have my husband back." Richard held her. "I was so lost. I didn't know there was another way." But Richard didn't stop. Year 2, he expanded beyond car accessories. He launched home organization products, kitchen gadgets, pet supplies. Anything he saw a gap in the market for, he hired his first employee, then his second, then his third. He rented a small warehouse. He started importing in bulk and prepping inventory himself instead of sending everything straight to Amazon. Year 2 revenue was $4.2 million. Profit was $1.6 million. Richard was officially a millionaire at 49 years old. The truck driver who used to worry about $347 electric bills now had 7 figures in the bank. Year 3, he launched his own brand website. He started selling on Walmart.com and eBay. He diversified beyond just Amazon. Revenue hit $8.9 million. Profit was $3.2 million. By year 4, Richard had 73 products across 8 different categories. He had 22 employees. His warehouse was 15,000 square feet. Annual revenue was $18.4 million. Richard Mason, the truck driver, was gone. Richard Mason, the e-commerce entrepreneur, was here. But Richard never forgot where he came from. He still remembered the 3:47 a.m. drives, the $52,000 debt, the desperate feeling of being trapped, the moment in that rest stop when he overheard 2 men talking. That moment changed everything. Sometimes Richard drives past rest stops on the highway. He thinks about the people inside. The tired truckers drinking $2.50 coffee, the ones scrolling through their phones wishing for a different life. He wonders if any of them will hear a conversation that changes their trajectory. He wonders if any of them will take that leap. He wonders if any of them will discover that the prison they're in has an unlocked door. Richard's story isn't about luck. It's not about being special or talented or connected. It's about a desperate 47-year-old man who was drowning in debt and saw a tiny rope and grabbed it with both hands. He didn't know if it would hold. He didn't know if he would succeed. He just knew he couldn't keep doing what he was doing. In that knowing, that moment of clarity in a rest stop at 5 a.m., that's what changed everything. Today Richard mentors other people trying to start e-commerce businesses. He does it for free. He remembers being that person, scared, unsure, desperate. He wants them to know that it's possible, that ordinary people can build extraordinary things, that you don't need permission. You don't need a degree. You don't need connections. You just need to try. Richard's net worth today is $18.4 million. His business generates $24 million annually. He works from home. He sees his kids every day. He takes his family on vacations. He sleeps in his own bed every night. And it all started with $2,000 from a credit card and a conversation he overheard at a rest stop. The opportunity is still out there. Amazon is still growing. E-commerce is still expanding. China still has factories making products for a fraction of US retail prices. The math still works. The model still works. The question is whether you'll grab that rope. Richard did, and it changed everything.